angels willing to hold us in their arms. When our worth of stone, our ashes, and we both passed on. Let forever mean forever and carry on.
Good afternoon. So what do gun owners, drone pilots, and vapers have in common? We'll get to that in a bit. Wow. Has it been an interesting weekend? And I don't think that interesting is quite necessarily the right word to put on it. Let's see. As far as any updates, well, I don't get my vacation. Not that I was gonna go to Cancun or nothing like that, but I did wind up getting another decal order. Not a huge one, but definitely definitely worth mention. So I did get another decal order, so I got to get that out. So again, yeah, I'm not getting my vacation. That's a good thing, though. That's a good thing. As I keep saying, keep them coming. Keep them coming. That is what we intend to do. That is how ideally we fund the extras is through that merchandise. So that's the ticket. And 2019 was incredible. Absolutely incredible, and I'm looking very forward to 2020 and the prospect of doing even more business in 2020 than what we did in 2019. I would really like to get to the stage this year to where we have to, even if it's like temporary part-time kind of stuff, employ somebody to come in and help out. That's my goal. That is my goal. And you may or may not know, it is our mission statement that if we do hire someone in, even if it's temporary part-time, it's mandatory within our company, our business, that person has to be disabled. So the idea is to specifically target the disabled individuals out there to help them out, because there are a lot of disabled people, Jen included, that would love to work. They would absolutely love to work, but they don't have the opportunity, and it's a shame. It's a shame. Jen graduated college with honors and can't find work. Why? Well, let's just pull all the cherry coating off of it, and let's not bullshit anybody. Because nobody wants to hire the girl with the crutches. It just is what it is. So we want to go above and beyond that, and we want to specifically hire disabled individuals. So we'll see what happens. That's my goal. I don't do the New Year's resolution thing, so it's not a resolution. It's just a business goal for the coming year. So we'll see what happens. I am looking very forward to it. Wow. A lot of stuff that I need to go over. Let me real quick run through the regular stuff, and then we'll go from there. So, real quick like here. Amazon affiliate, we are at $43.84, and I do show a couple more items were ordered that hasn't shipped yet, so we'll see if that hits in time. I believe it'll go all the way up to actually the 1st before it kicks over to the next month. So we got another 2 days. So anyway, thank you to those that participate in that. I know I mentioned the merchandise, and that's how we get extra money. Well, this is also how we get extra money is our Amazon affiliate and the Teespring and all of that stuff. It is what it is. It's a great help for us, and it's simple enough just to click a link when you go to Amazon to place your order. And so, in my opinion, it's kind of a win-win. because I think shopping with Amazon's pretty well a win. I know I get that there's a lot of individuals, companies, and whatnot that lose when Amazon wins. But you know what? They provide a good service in a timely fashion, and that's why we use them. That's exactly why we use them. I love to order through Amazon. I do, because I know I'm not going to be waiting forever and a day in most cases to get the item. So that's, it is what it is. Hey, I'm just like anybody else out there. I have a bit of impatience, and when I order something, I like to get it as quick as possible. So that's why we like to use Amazon. So anyway, thank you again for those who participate. For those that don't know, well, you should by now, we're an Amazon affiliate. There's a link in the description of the videos, as well as at the watchmannews.com in the top right corner. If you click that link, it just takes you to Amazon. If you make some purchases after going through that link, it doesn't cost you anything more, but it throws a little bit our way. So we also got a Teespring store. Best way to see our designs is just go to the watchmannews.com, scroll down on the home page. If you click an image, that will take you to that page on Teespring, to where there's a plethora of items, from phone cases to tote bags to socks to leggings to you name it. There's a ton of stuff with those designs on them. I will be adding more as I can, as I'm inspired with new designs, because it's not something that I force out of myself. Because I've learned many times in the past, when I try to force an artistic kind of thing, it doesn't come out very good. It's kind of like, well, we won't go there, but you can imagine forcing other things in life that may not end well. Anyway, the one other way you can help out, if you so choose, is our PayPal donate link. That link's in the description of the videos, as well as in the main menu at thewatchmannews.com. That just takes you to our PayPal donation page. You don't have to have a PayPal account. You can just use a debit or a credit card. But I always let people know so they're not confused. It does say Transforming Disabilities up top. That is us. It will also say Purpose the Watchman News donation. So that way you know you're in the right place. So, okay, got all that stuff out of the way. Got my phone away from the microphone so that you don't hear Yahoo Mail 500 times. Anyway, like I said, lots of stuff to talk about. And to answer that question, what do gun owners, drone pilots, and vapers have in common? Well, there's a lot more people that are included in that list as well. In fact, I would say that almost every single one of us is in one way or another included in that list. So you name it, drone pilots, Second Amendment supporters, vapers, culinary artists, you name it. I mean, just anything, hunters, you name it, anything. What we have in common is the need to unite together and fight. Because, you see, we are getting hit from so many directions on so many things. And what is happening is insane, folks. It is insane. The state of Illinois, I think they instituted a new some kind of a used car sales tax or something like that is nuts. Absolutely nuts. You name it, everything is regulated, everything is permitted to death, everything, they want you to pay this fee or that fee or do this paperwork or that paperwork. That is not how our forefathers intended this country to be. That is not being a free man or a free woman. It's not. That's enslavement. Period. It's enslavement. And it's the exact opposite of free. We're seeing instances pop up all the time. Yesterday's a good instance to note. I saw, Judy, you mentioned that you were like 8 miles from there. My goodness, that had to be a shaking kind of experience to realize that you were that close. a good bit of evidence that we most certainly not only need the Second Amendment, but we need to encourage it instead of trying to regulate it out of existence, is what happened yesterday in a church in Texas. Now, I haven't read if they've stated any kind of a motive or anything like that, so I'm just assuming that the motive was robbery. That's kind of what I put. I have seen the video. I put two and two together to the best of my ability. I think the person was going to try to steal the offerings from the church. Again, that's purely assumption, the speculation, but it just kind of seemed that way. So what had happened, and I'm sure most of you are already aware, is a person got up from a pew and walked over to what appeared, I'm guessing, to maybe be an usher at the church, spoke with them for a little bit, took a step back and pulled out what appeared to be a shotgun. And there were two gentlemen right there in the vicinity of this guy. The usher, again, I'm assuming he was an usher, that the man initially talked to, and then there was somebody that was standing not so far behind him. Well, when he pulled out the gun, the man that was standing a little further back reached around his back, and it appeared to me that he was reaching for a firearm himself. Well, the suspect immediately changed his aim to that gentleman more towards the rear and took the shot. He then immediately took a second shot and hit the initial person he was talking to. Again, I assume it was an usher. Well, before he could do much more else than that, a gentleman more towards the rear of the church, I don't know if he was a security guard or what. That I know that word or that title or that, job position has been mentioned multiple times. Well, he drew his concealed firearm, took very judicious aim, and ended the threat. Just that quick. If there is not better proof of why we need to encourage not only the Second Amendment, but to carry, I don't know what is. I don't know what is. Not long ago, this subject came up in a forum, and the person who, the original poster of that particular topic or thread, was stating that their opinion is that, there needs to be more restrictions, and that, a place of worship is somewhere that the Second Amendment shouldn't be allowed. Well, I vehemently disagree with that, and I made it known. This is why. This is why. If they had a no guns allowed rule at that church, and everybody listened to that rule, and when I say everybody, there was like 5 people with guns at that church that pulled their weapon and approached the suspect. I mean, that was a well-armed church. But let's go the other direction. Let's say that, it was no guns allowed, and everybody listened to the rules because it was the rules. That's what the sign says. That is everybody but the criminal. How many people could have been shot yesterday? A hell of a lot more. A hell of a lot more. This instance proved 2 very important things. Number 1, people need to carry. all the time, even in church. And number two, practice is important. The gentleman that killed the suspect was from what I can tell, from what I've seen, a former firearms instructor. So I would say that he's fired more than a few rounds in his lifetime. In order to, in that type of situation and at that distance, pull off, and I don't mean to be graphic here, but to pull off a headshot, that's impressive. That is impressive. So it's not just about owning it. You need to be proficient with it. And we've said that here before. And that, firearms is not a subject that we typically cover a whole lot and never in detail. And the reason why do I tell you that? Because we don't own a firearm. I am not proficient with firearms. I'm not well experienced in firearms. And I'm not going to sit here and talk about something that my knowledge of and experience with is extremely limited. Not going to do it. Not going to do it. I have much better morals than that. Because, I think it's immoral for me to sit here and talk about something I have really no clue about, just to be able to have something coming out of my mouth. It is what it is. But please, by all means, if you can legally carry a firearm, please do so. And please get out to the range or wherever it is that you have available to you and practice. Please. That's immensely important. I hear over and over that shooting is a perishable skill. Again, I don't personally have that kind of experience with it, so I just have to take that, as it's said. But being that the main one I hear say that is Bear Independent, I do have a high level of trust for his opinion in the matter. So, however, let's shift gears here a little bit. Because, see, when it comes to the firearms thing, we've got this situation that happened in Texas, and then over in Virginia, they're doing everything they can to ban as many, if not all, weapons. They're doing the same, apparently, in the state of Georgia. I think the state of Washington, if I'm not mistaken, has piped up since all of this and wanting to go about their tyranny some more again. And I think there was possibly a couple of more states. In fact, I want to say Illinois was mentioned. I want to say, if I'm not mistaken, Colorado was mentioned. States that, ever since Virginia had stepped up to the plate, decided that they were going to start introducing legislation as well. So we've got two totally different aspects on this. One, showing the actual physical proof of why we should have the right to bear arms, and not only have the right, but to practice it daily in our daily lives. But also states that are trying to prevent you from being able to do that. And again, we're going to shift gears here a little bit, and we're going to move to drones. So I want to say it was over the weekend, or maybe it was last week. I don't know if I've mentioned this at all or not. I think maybe I had, maybe Friday. I don't know. If I hadn't, my apologies. If I had and forgot, my apologies. The FAA has released this. It's what do they call it? An NPRR. It's a notice of proposed rule something. I can't remember. rulemaking, notice of proposed rulemaking, sorry. And so this isn't like for sure in stone the rules, but it's the government, right? And they do whatever the hell it is that they want. It doesn't matter what we the people say, or what we the people think, or what we the people want. They do whatever the hell that they want to do, because they're 3- and 4-letter agencies that, even though they have no lawmaking power, they were bullshitted into believing that they do have that by our Congress. And our Congress had crossed the T's and dotted the I's to make it appear so. This deal with drones is devastating for the industry at all levels. Devastating. It's not only going to really hurt manufacturers, but it's going to hurt both recreational drone pilots and commercial drone pilots alike. And it's ridiculous. And they use the same song and dance as to why it needs to be done. Oh, safety. Safety. Sound familiar? Safety. Same with vaping. Same with firearms. Safety. This ain't about safety. It's about control. It's about control. You know, the common thing that I'm seeing in different places, forums and Facebook and whatnot, when this is being discussed, is that, you know, you have some people that are like, you know, good, something needs to be done. Why? Well, because of how dangerous drones are. And I see the same question being asked time and time again. Name one incident here in the United States where a drone caused a plane to go down, or you know, something horrific. Name one instance. And nobody can do it. The real concerning thing about this proposed rule, it's all concerning, but the most concerning is the violation of privacy, outright just stripping privacy away. How does it do that? Well, let's start out with what they say, this is what they lead in with to get you to start nodding your head and say, oh, okay, that makes sense. Let me have a sip of coffee. They say, well, this is mainly for law enforcement to be able to catch anybody that might have any nefarious ideas in mind. This would allow law enforcement to, in real time, monitor and know the location of not only the drone and the drone pilot, but not just the location, also the identity. While I can almost understand that and agree with it, I've got a question. Why is it necessary to make this database of drones, their owners and pilots, public? Yeah, you heard me right. Imagine if the registration on your car, your license plates, imagine if that was public information. In other words, I see your car at the shopping center, I write down the license plate, and I go home at my computer, and I go to XYZ website, I put in your plate number into that website, and up comes your registration address, all your information, your name, your address, yada yada. That would be a little freaky, would it not? That's how this drone database is going to be. So literally, anybody, for any reason they decide they want to, can start looking up drone pilots or drones or whatever. This is ridiculous. And of course, again, this is just a notice of proposed rulemaking. There's 60 days that the drone community and manufacturers and all that can leave comments and all that. Look, that's not going to do anything. They are going to do whatever it is that they want to do. They've got 319 pages here to prove to you that they're going to do whatever the hell they want to do. 319 pages. Ridiculous. Ridiculous. Folks, it's got to stop. But we have been so compartmentalized in our own lives, in our own bubbles, in our own activities, that we often don't think about those other individuals. We often think, well, I don't fly drones. Why do I care? That would be like me saying, well, we don't own guns. Why do we care? That would be like somebody down the street saying, well, I don't vape. Why do I care? Happens every day, all the time. Much of society, if they don't participate in a particular activity, they don't care. Who cares if they lose their rights? I do. Because I know and I understand that if they can just walk in and take away your rights, they can just walk in and extort money from you because, I don't know, you like to participate in a particular hobby or whatever the case may be. That means they can turn around and do it to me too. And that's why pretty much all of my life, as long as I can remember, I've always spoke out about this kind of thing. Always. Because I understand how it works. You know, this is why I get so frustrated, so mad at the political parties and its supporters, because they're both wanting to, oh, well, ban this, ban that, stop them from doing this, stop them from doing that. How about no? It's only a matter of time before that gets used against us. You want to stop an individual from participating in their First Amendment right because you disagree with them? Then you can't complain whenever your First Amendment right's trampled. We have to break out of this brainwashing, mind control in a sense, of the ideal that if we don't participate or if we're not involved in something, that is none of our concern. We need to start being there for one another and defending one another's rights. We need the drone pilots and the vapers at the Second Amendment rallies. We need the gun owners at the drone pilots rallies, which there aren't any yet that I'm aware of, but you get what I'm saying. Because an attack on any one of these things is an attack on our liberties. And the only way we're going to fix it is together. So anyway, I just thought I would like to talk about that today because I see this stuff all the time, and it's getting the amount of regulation and restriction and the flat out banning and everything else is just getting ridiculous. But we aren't going to fix it just by huddling up in our own little groups with our own little interests, with little voices. We aren't going to fix it by paying hard-earned money to organizations that claim that they're going to fight for our rights either. We have to get out there and we have to do it. The solution to the problem, it's consequences. Well, how's that? Show them that there are consequences. All these tyrannical people all throughout government, you show them that there's consequences and it'll stop. I'm assuming that we don't have any bank robbers in the chat. Why not? Why isn't there a single one of you that is tempted or wants to go to your local bank right now and take out a withdrawal? Why not? Because you are aware of the consequences, and you know those consequences are there, and you know it's damn likely that you're going to have to pay those consequences. So therefore, you don't do it. Well, if our government and its agencies and entities and employees were that damn sure that there were going to be consequences for the tyranny that they enact, they would stop it real damn quick. Anyway, let me go ahead and read the headlines to you. I got headlines from Saturday, Sunday, and of course today. So let me go ahead and read the headlines for you, and we'll go from there. Let me have a sip of coffee and a vape because it's somewhere in the contract. I gave up on trying to find the contract. It's there though, trust me. Yum yum. Now I got to go for the vape. All right. Okay. Pack of lies. On behalf of Al-Qaeda, security experts rip into Duma chemical attack probe after the latest OPCW leak. Of course, this is a headline from Saturday. A U.S. military contractor sued for funding terrorism in Afghanistan with protection payments to the Taliban. Thought that was kind of an interesting headline. Oops for Google Apps. Huawei seeks an alliance with other Chinese firms to push U.S. giant out of Asia. Over 70 killed as truck bomb explodes at crowded security checkpoint in Somalia's capital. Banks make biggest layoffs since 2015 and may continue to do so next year, says a report. That might be a headline you might want to tuck in the back of your head. Banks are laying off people? A New Year's surprise from nature. Russia's Diamond Titan unearths massive 190-carat gem. I wouldn't mind having a couple of those. Your technology is mine. Doctor sues Apple over Apple Watch heart rate monitoring method. Yeah, you're not saying Apple stole something else, are you? I am curious, though, if they're going to wind up going after, Android devices and whatnot as well. I don't know if it's the same technology or if there's something different, but I would kind of assume that would at least on some level be the same. So interesting nonetheless. Huawei may sell up to 100 million 5G phones in China alone next year, a Japanese supplier predicts. A lot of phones. MSM silence on OPCW Duma scandal ridiculous, says journalist gagged by Newsweek after scandalous leak. I mean, that's something that should have hell raised about it too. That whole thing, not only about the journalists being silenced, but you know, the fraud of the attack to begin with. I mean, it's ridiculous, folks. It's ridiculous. RT's crew attacked for filming as Yellow Vest and anti-pension reform marches end in clashes. Protests and whatnot are still going on. Multiple locations around the world. It's crazy. Except for here. Gotta love that fluoride. Democratic talks to replace club interest. UNGA approves Russian drafted resolution against cybercrime despite U.S. opposition. No joke, intruders will be shot. Iran warns spies to keep clear of its joint drills with China and Russia. Still on Saturday, by the way. Multiple people stabbed as machete-wielding man tries to break in synagogue at Monsey, New York, says reports. 5 Hasidic Jews stabbed in machete attack on rabbi's house and synagogue during Hanukkah celebrations in Monsey, New York. Now, this is Sunday. We're starting Sunday's news here. That was an update from that. Quantum internet is near, ? Scientists teleport data between chips for the first time. So you thought the whole Star Trek teleport thing was just for TV? You know what? When I look at a microwave, I kind of almost think of, in a sense, they're replicators. Just think about that, though. Think about, say, you know, in the 60s, in the 70s. Could you imagine a microwave oven? That would seem pretty, you know, Star Trek-ish, right? So if they're getting ready to, you know, be able to teleport data, I mean, how much longer is it going to be before they figure it out? Interesting. I'm a tech geek, though. I love technology. Indian government Indian government issues red warning for Delhi as capital and adjacent states shiver in extreme cold. Speaking of messed up weather, suspicious observers put out a video today. Oh my God, is it good? And if I don't forget, we'll play that first thing after the monologue's over. And wow, it is something for you to hear, and definitely something to pay very, 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 very close attention to. And you're going to hear things that just validate what I've been saying all along. Absolutely validates it. So anyway, Trump tariffs hurt more than helped, leading to job losses and higher prices, says a Fed study. 9 killed, 30 injured as blast hits military graduation parade in Yemen. Indian minister demands action after video of cop telling protesters to go to Pakistan went viral. Hong Kong economy will inevitably shrink further as protests show no sign of abating. So that's the protesting in Hong Kong. Stabbing at rabbi's home is act of domestic terrorism, says New York Governor Cuomo. Americans have to leave the region. Iran says first joint drills with China and Russia send a message to the U.S. Putin and Merkel agree to keep supporting Nord Stream 2 project amid sanctions pressure from Washington. Putin thanks Trump for information that helped prevent acts of terrorism in Russia in a phone call. Okay, that's the report of the two reportedly killed in the church shooting. Russian security forces prevent New Year terrorist attacks in St. Petersburg based off of U.S. tip-off. Jews did 9/11. Anti-Semitic graffiti appears on Jewish shops and synagogue in London during Hanukkah. U.S. strikes Kataib Hezbollah headquarters in Iraq, Syria. And I'm sure I said that wrong. The report details the CIA's deadly torture program. Which part is fiction, Mike? Question mark. And that's referring to Mike Pompeo, not me. Good article, though. French entrepreneur steals 1.1 million euros worth of Bitcoin from former firm in revenge for being sacked. Trump briefed on successful strikes and other options after U.S. raid kills dozens of Iran-backed militias in Iraq and Syria. Flights diverted, trains delayed, New Delhi sinks in dense fog as India shivers from severe cold wave. Okay, from this morning, Chinese scientists who claim to create first ever gene-edited babies sentenced to 3 years in prison. Kim Jong-un calls for positive and offensive measures to ensure North Korea's security amid stalled denuclearization talks with the U.S. Iran lashes out at U.S. strikes, as a clear example of terrorism after attacks on Iraq and Syria announced. India set to overtake Germany as world's fourth largest economy by 2026. More nuclear energy for Turkey as Russia starts work on second power unit for Akuyu plant. And I probably pronounced that wrong as well. China to spend over $100 billion on railways next year. Toxic threat. Tokyo 2020 organizers to take emergency measures after asbestos found at Olympics venue. Foreign forces only threat in Gulf, Iran's Navy chief warns, inviting regional players to join drills it held with Russia and China. London has fallen, shock online at vicious knife attack outside UK strip club. A flow of global capital impossible to stop. Foreign investments in Russia expected to jump 70% this year despite sanctions. That's quite a jump. Shots fired at Checkpoint Charlie, popular Berlin tourist spot. Police say incident related to cafe robbery. At least 14 injured as suspected pyrotechnics explosion hits festival in Spanish town of Centelles. And I'm sure I said that wrong as well. Bolivia expels Mexico ambassador while Mexico says she was instructed to return home after harassment accusations. Kim Jong, unbelievable. Trump's national security advisor forgets how to say North Korean leader's name. U.S. airstrikes are a violation of sovereignty. will have grave consequences, says the Iraqi Prime Minister. Madrid expels 3 Bolivian diplomats to reciprocate removal of Spanish officials by La Paz. Joe Biden tells Raleigh he wants fossil fuel executives to go to jail in bizarre rant. Too bad his son is one. Cancer patient dies after being set on fire during operation in Romania. Pretty sure that wasn't standard operating procedure. A cylinder explosion shakes homes in northeast London as residents suspect sonic boom from aircraft. Russia and Ukraine strike last-minute gas transit deal to avoid stoppage of energy supplies to Europe. There you go. There are your headlines. So let me go ahead and close up the monologue, and we'll continue from there. For those here for the live show, don't go anywhere. Don't do anything. We'll be live until 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. For those here for the monologue, or if you're watching the recording later on, thank you very much. As always, God bless you. We love you, and be one with your spirit.